Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Jayam Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprahishu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, chapter 13, the advent of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So yesterday we discussed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared and everybody is jubilant. It was lunar eclipse and people were taking bath in the Ganges. And Advaita Acharya Haridas Thakur, they were happy. And further, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, text 101 onwards. Jagat Anandamaya Deki Mane Savismaya Hare Thore Kahe Haridas Tomara Aichan Ranga Mor Man Parasana Deki Kichu Kare Achepas. When he saw that the whole world was jubilant, Haridas Thakur, his mind, astonished, directly and indirectly expressed himself to Advaita Acharya. Your dancing and distributing charity are very pleasing to me. I can understand that there is some special purpose in these actions. Acharya Ratna Shrivas, Haila Mane Sukholas, Yai Snana Kaila Ganga Jale, Anande Vival Man Kare Hari Sankirtan, Nana Dana Kaila Mana Bale. Acharya Ratna, Chandrasekhar, and Shrivas Thakur were overwhelmed with joy. And immediately they went to the bank of the Ganges to bathe in her waters. Their minds full of happiness, they chanted the Hare Krishna mantra and gave charity by mental strength. Ei mata bhakta tati yara dei desha sthiti taha taha paya manobale. Nache kare sankirtan anande vivala man dana kare grihane rachale. In this way, all the devotees, wherever they were situated, in every city, in every country, danced, performed Sankirtan, and gave charity by mental strength on the plea of the lunar eclipse, their minds overwhelmed with joy. Brahman sajjan nari nana dravya thali bari, aila sabbe yotu kalaiya. Yena kancha shona dyuti, dekhi bala kera murti, ashirvad kare sukha paya. All sorts of respectable Brahmin gentlemen and ladies carrying plates filled with various gifts came with their presentations. Seeing the newborn child whose form resembled natural glaring gold, all of them happily offered their blessings. So the newborn child whose form resembled natural glaring gold, that's why it's called Goranga, goldish color. Savitri Gauri Saraswati Shachi Ramba Arundhati Arayat Deva Narigana Nana Drave Patra Bhari Brahmanira Veshadhari Ashishabe Kare Darshan. Dressing themselves as the wives of Brahmans, all the celestial ladies, including the wives of Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Nrsimhadev, King Indra, and Vashishta Rishi, along with Rambha, a dancing girl of heaven, came there with varieties of gifts. Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, has appeared, so everybody from all over the universe came. So, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a newborn baby, he was visited by the neighboring ladies, most of whom were the wives of respectable Brahmins. In the dress of Brahman's wives, celestial ladies like the wives of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva also came to see the newborn child. Ordinary people saw them as respectable Brahmin ladies of the neighborhood, but actually they were all celestial ladies dressed in that way. Antarikshe Devagan Gandharva Siddhacharan Stuti Nitya Kare Vadya Gita Nartaka Vadaka Bhata Navadvipe Yara Nata Sabe Ashi Nache Paya Prihita. In outer space, all the demigods, including the inhabitants of Gandharva Loka, Siddha Loka, and Charan Loka, offered their prayers and danced to the accompaniment of music, songs, and the beating of drums. Similarly, in Navadvip city, all the professional dancers, musicians, and blessers gathered together, dancing in great jubilation. As there are professional singers, dancers, and reciters of prayers in the heavenly planet, so in India, still there are professional dancers, blessers, and singers, all of whom assemble together during householder ceremonies, especially marriages and birth ceremonies. These professional men earn their livelihood by taking charity on such occasions from the homes of the Hindus. Eunuchs also take advantage of such ceremonies to receive charity. That is their means of livelihood. Such men never become servants or engage themselves in agriculture or business occupations. They simply take charity from neighborhood friends to maintain themselves peacefully. The Bhats are a class of Brahmins who go to such ceremonies to offer blessings by composing poems with references to Vedic scriptures. Well, now it has changed. They don't take charity. They basically demand money, this much money. But anyway, this profession is still going on. Keba se keba yae, keba nache keba gaye, sambhalite nare kara bola. Kandi lekhas dukha shoka, paramod purita loka, mishra haila anande vivala. No one could understand who was coming and who was going, who was dancing and who was singing. Nor could they understand one another's language, yet all unhappiness and lamentation were immediately dissipated, and people became all jubilant. Thus Jagannath Mishra was also overwhelmed with joy. Acharya Ratna Shrivasa Jagannatha Mishra Pasha Ashitare Kare Savadhana Karela Jata Karma Ye Achila Vidhi Dharma Tabe Mishra Kare Nanadana. Chandrasekhar Acharya and Srivas Thakur both came to Jagannath Mishra and drew his attention in various ways. They performed the ritualistic ceremonies prescribed at the time of birth according to religious principles. Jagannath Mishra also gave varieties of charity. See this thing, they performed ritualistic ceremonies prescribed at the time of birth according to religious principles or whatever tradition it was followed in that family. So it's not like we threw away all the traditions. Yeah. Of course, Prabhupada here or Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says according to religious principles. So they were not doing anything against religious principles, but still they did it. Ritualistic ceremonies also. And sometimes, or many times, when we take up devotional service or take or get initiated, then we think we are just above all sorts of rituals and traditions, family traditions, and we stop them. Oh, we don't need it. We are devotees now. We are Vaishnavas. Lord Himself, His associates are doing it for Him. So there's nothing wrong with that. It just we become very fanatic, and with a myopic point of view, we don't want to do all this. We should be all inclusive instead of thinking we are exclusive. Then it becomes problem actually. Yotuk paila yata ghareva chila kata sab dhan vipre dela dana yata nar tak gayan bhada kinchan jan dhan diya kela sabarmana. Whatever riches Jagannath Mishra collected in the form of gifts and presentations, and whatever he had in his house, he distributed among the Brahmins, professional singers, dancers, bhatas, and poor. He honored them all by giving them riches and charity. See, Jagannath Mishra, Brahman, but he is giving charity. So much of charity he gave. Shrivasera Brahmani Nam Tara Namailini Acharya Ratnera Patni Sange Sindura Haridra Tela Khai Kala Nari Kela Diya Puje Nari Gana Range. The wife of Shrivas Thakur, whose name was Malini, accompanied by the wife of Chandrasekhar, Acharya Ratna, and other ladies came there in great happiness to worship the baby with paraphernalia such as vermilion, turmeric, oil, fused rice, bananas, and coconuts. So vermilion means sindoor, khai, fused rice, bananas, coconuts, and turmeric mixed with oil are all auspicious gifts for such a ceremony. As there is puffed rice, so there is another presentation of rice called khai or fused rice, which along with bananas is taken as a very auspicious presentation. Also, turmeric mixed with oil and vermilion makes an auspicious ointment that is smeared over the body of a newborn baby or a person who is going to marry. These are all auspicious activities in family affairs. We see that 500 years ago, at the birth of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all these ceremonies were performed rigidly, but at present, such ritualistic performances hardly ever take place. Generally, a pregnant mother is sent to the hospital, and as soon as a child is born, he is washed with an antiseptic, and this concludes everything. Yeah, this has become the ritual now. Advaita Acharya Bharya Jagat Puchita Arya Namatar Sita Thakurani Acharya Agya Paya Gela Upahar Laya Dekhi Te Balak Shirumani. One day, shortly after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born, Advaita Acharya's wife Sita Devi, who was worshipable by the whole world, took her husband's permission and went to see that topmost child with all kinds of gifts and presentations. It appears that Advaita Acharya had two different houses, one at Shantipur and one at Navadvip. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born, Advaita Acharya was residing not at his Navadvip house, but at his Shantipur house. Therefore, as formally explained from Advaita's old paternal house, Nijala in Shantipur, Sita came to Navadvip to present gifts to the newborn child, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Suvarnera Kadi Boli Rajat Mudra Pashuli Suvarnera Angada Kankana Dubahute Divya Shankar Rajatera Malabanka Swarna Mudrara Nana Harang. She brought different kinds of golden ornaments, including armlets, necklaces, anklets, and bangles for the hands. Vyagra Naka Hema Jari Kati Pata Shutra Dori Hasta Padera Yata Avarana Chitra Varna Pata Shadi Buni Photo Patapadi Swarna Ropya Mudra Bahudhana. There were also tiger nails set in gold, waist decorations of silk and lace, ornaments for the hands and legs, nicely printed silken saris, and a child's garment, also made of silk. Many other riches, including gold and silver coins, were also presented to the child. So from the gifts presented by Sita Thakurani, Advaita Acharya's wife, it appeared that Advaita Acharya was at that time a very rich man. Although Brahmins are not the rich men of society, Advaita Acharya, being the leader of the Brahmins in Shantipura, was considered well-to-do. Therefore, he presented many ornaments to the baby, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But as it was mentioned earlier, this Kamalakant Vishwas, he said Advaita Acharya is indebted. But Kamalakant Vishwas asking for 300 rupees from the king of Jagannath Puri, Maharaj Pratap Rudra, on the plea that Advaita Acharya was in debt for that amount, indicates that such a rich man who could present many valuable ornaments, saris, etc., thought it difficult to repay 300 rupees. Although the value of a rupee at that time was many thousands of times what it is now. At present, no one feels difficulty over a debt of 300 rupees, nor can an ordinary man accumulate such valuable ornaments to present to a friend's son. So probably the value of 300 rupees at that time was equal to the present value of 30,000 rupees. But this is what Prabhupada wrote in 70s This Chaitanya Charitamrita was written in 70s. But even then, whatever the case was, Advaita Acharya was a rich man, that's all. Durva Dhanya Gaurochan Haridra Kumkum Chandan Mangala Dravya Patra Bhariya Vasra Gupta Dola Chadi Sange Laya Dasi Chedi Vasra Lankara Petari Bhariya. Riding in a palanquin covered with cloth and accompanied by maidservant, Sita Thakurani came to the house of Jagannath Mishra, bringing with her many auspicious articles such as fresh grass, paddy, gorochan, turmeric, kumkum, and sandalwood. All these presentations filled a large basket. The words Vastra Gupta Dola are very significant in this verse. Even 50 or 60 years ago in Calcutta, all respectable ladies would go to a neighboring place riding on a palanquin carried by 4 men. The palanquin was covered with soft cotton, and in that way there was no chance of seeing a respectable lady traveling in public. Ladies, especially those coming from respectable families, could not be seen by ordinary men. This system is still current in remote places. The Sanskrit word Asurya Pashya indicates that a respectable lady could not be seen even by the sun. Asurya Pashya. In the Oriental culture, this system was very prevalent and was strictly observed by respectable ladies, both Hindu and Muslim. We have actual experience in our childhood that our mother would not walk even next door to observe an invitation. Rather, she would go in either a carriage or a palanquin carried by 4 men. This custom was strictly followed 500 years ago, and the wife of Advaita Acharya, being a very respectable lady, observed the customary rules current in that social environment. And now if somebody does that way, the media and all the liberals, the reporters, journalists, TV, they will go crazy after that person. Oh, this is so backward and this and that. But this is what Prabhupada is saying, respectable ladies, they would not be seen by, even by sun, when they walk crossing, going to some other place. Bhaksha Bhojo Upahara, Sange Laila Bahu Bhara, Shachi Grihe Haila Upanita, Dekhiya Balak Thama, Sakshat Gokula Kana, Varna Matra Dekhi Viparita. When Sita Thakurani came to the house of Shachi Devi, bringing with her many kinds of eatables, dresses, and other gifts, she was astonished to see the newborn child, for she appreciated that except for a difference in color, the child was directly Krishna of Gokul himself. A patari is a kind of a big basket that is carried in pairs on the ends of a rod balanced over the shoulders. The man who carries such a load is called a bhari. This system of carrying luggage and packages is still current in India and other Oriental countries. And we have seen that the same system is still current even in Jakarta, Indonesia. So, well, all this is going away now, slowly, slowly. Sarva anga shunirmana suvarna pratima bhan sarva anga sulakshana maya balakera divya jyoti dekhi pahla bahu priti vasalyate dravila hridaya. Seeing the transcendental bodily effulgence of the child, each of his nicely constructed limbs, full of auspicious signs and resembling a form of gold, Sita Thakurani was very much pleased, and because of her maternal affection, she felt as if her heart were melting. Durva dhanya dila shirshe kaila bahu ashishe chera jiva how dui bhai dakini shankini haite shanka upajila chite dare nama tuila nimai. She blessed the newborn child by placing fresh grass and paddy on his head and saying, may you be blessed with a long duration of life. But being afraid of ghosts and witches, she gave the child the name Nimai. So ghosts and witches. Dakini and Shankini are two companions of Lord Shiva and his wife who are supposed to be extremely inauspicious, having been born of ghostly life. It is believed that such inauspicious living creatures cannot go near a neem tree. At least medically, it is accepted that neem wood is extremely antiseptic, and formerly it was customary to have a neem tree in front of one's house. On very large roads in India, especially in Uttar Pradesh, there are hundreds and thousands of neem trees. Neem wood is so antiseptic that the Ayurvedic science uses it to cure leprosy. Medical scientists have extracted the active principle of the neem tree, which is called margosic acid. Neem is used for many purposes, especially to brush the teeth. In Indian villages, 90% of the people use neem twigs for this purpose. Because of all the antiseptic effects of the neem tree and because Lord Chaitanya was born beneath a neem tree, Sita Thakurani gave the Lord the name Nimai. So he was born beneath a neem tree. So when we go to Yogpit, that tree is still there. Either that tree or original tree is gone, but it came out of the same roots. And he was born under that neem tree, so he was called Nimai. So the reason he was given this name, of course, here it is said to protect him from all the ghosts and witches. And also because his 8 sisters had passed away, and after that Vishwarup was born, but they really wanted this child to be protected in every way possible. So Sita Thakurani gave him the name Nimai. So Neem, connection with neem tree, so he should be protected. Later in his youth, he was celebrated as Nimai Pandit. And in the neighborhood villages, he was called by that name, although his real name was Vishwamar. Putra Mata Snana Dine Dila Vastra Vibhushane Putra Sah Mishrere Sammani Shachi Mishrera Pujalaya Manete Harishahaya Ghare Aila Sita Thakurani. On the day the mother and son bathed and left the maternity home, Sita Thakurani gave them all kinds of ornaments and garments and then also honored Jagannath Mishra. Then Sita Thakurani, being honored by Mother Shachidevi and Jagannath Mishra, was greatly happy within her mind and thus she returned home. On the 5th day from the birth of a child, and also on the 9th day, the mother bathes either in the Ganges or in another sacred place. This is called Nishkraman, or the ceremony of coming out of the maternity home. Nowadays, maternity home is a hospital, but formerly in every respectable house, one room was set aside as a maternity home where children would take birth. And on the 9th day after the birth of the child, the mother would come into the regular rooms in the ceremony called Nishkraman. Of the 10 purificatory processes or 10 sanskaras, Nishkraman is one. Formerly, especially in Bengal, the higher castes observed 4 months after the birth of a child as quarantine. At the end of the 4th month, the mother could see the sun rise. Later, the higher caste, namely the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas, observed only 21 days as quarantine, whereas the Shudras had to observe 30 days. For the sections of society known as Kartabhaja and Shatima, the mother of the child was immediately purified after the quarantine by process of Hari Luta, the throwing of small pieces of sweet meat in Sankirtan. Shachi Devi and Jagannath Mishra with a newborn child were honored by Sita Thakurani. Similarly, when Sita Thakurani was returning home, she was also honored by Shachi Devi and Jagannath Mishra. That was the system in respectable families in Bengal. So much of tradition is there. And of course, the tradition is not without any logic. Prabhupada explained. He just mentioned that ninth day the mother come out into the regular rooms called Nishkraman. But some places I've read that 40 days she has to stay quarantined. But that quarantine is not that she's dirty or something like that, but because it takes time for the body, mother's body to recover after delivery of the baby, and also to take care of the baby. Baby is very small. He can get infected very easily. Of course, mothers in the class would know better, much better than I do. But these traditions are there. But as Prabhupada said, nowadays they will go to the hospital and then uh, deliver the baby and come back from the hospital, and that's it. So slowly, all these traditions are going away in the name of modernization. Anyway, so we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisance. It is
Hare
so
Krishna.
valid, all these points. Actually, it seems that because what all it is has was prescribed, like itne din ke baad we have to come out from the home about the child, and I see that is getting followed in Maharashtra, especially since I'm staying here, very ritualistically. Most of the people follow all these traditions still uh, here, and they have a proper book also, Garva Sanskar, by one of Balaji Tambe. So it's really very nice to see that Prabhupada has mentioned it in so much details, actually.
Yep. And Prabhupada knew everything, all these things.
Yes, he was all
You
rounded.
understand, Prabhupada knowing everything.
मैं भी यही सोच रही थी कि प्रभु जी को ऐसी इतनी डिटेल कैसे पता है.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's amazing. हाँ yeah.
Actually, Prabhuji, yes. He was a all-rounder, actually. Everything
He
in every
definitely
details he knows. Whenever he mention anything, he gives all the details about it.
gets all the details. Not just these traditions, about he knew about medicine also, he knew accounting, painting, everything. I mean, bhakti definitely, but all these small things also he knows. Amazing. Chalo, you all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Ram.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Jai Shri Ram.